as you probably know, it's a bit tattered, it's a little bit... It is like really dark in here for some reason. My little light is the only light source in here right now. Part 14 of the Sonic... We're on 14, right? My computer just shut itself off while I was trying to record the intro. This is amazing. We're only 50 seconds in and everything is going wrong already. As I was saying, part 14 of the Sonic.EXE tutorial series and the final part of the Sonic.EXE tutorial series. Yes, we are finally closing off this series. It feels very strange that might be the last time I'll be saying like that same intro. This series has been going on for about a year and a few months. I started it on July 4th, so it's a very easy date to remember. But we've definitely learned a lot. I've definitely grown a big community. I hit 1,000 subscribers within the time. It's also been really nice to interact with a lot of you guys. A lot of people have definitely grown a lot closer to me in the channel. I've gotten like more online messages from people just like asking for help on stuff, really. I've made some new online friends in the community too, so that is pretty nice on my end. It's also been nice to be able to share my knowledge of Clickteam with you guys instead of being selfish and just keeping it all like just for me to know. I mean, there are lots of stuff that I do know how to do with Clickteam that I have not shared and probably will not plan on sharing for a while. But all of the main stuff, all the iconic stuff that like everyone wants to do, that like the only way to figure out how to do it is if you teach yourself and eventually figure out, or if you learn from somebody. So I'm glad I've been able to make this tutorial series. I think this is the first like YouTube video series that I've actually finished, because back when I did all the gaming videos, I would make like a part 1 and be like, oh, I'll make a part 2 at some point, or part 2 is coming soon, or I'll make a whole series of this game, and it never happened. It never happened, because I think I just like moved on from stuff, you know. Games died out before I could make a part 2, or new games would come out and I'd forget about old ones. There were some games that I did manage to make like a part 2 on. I think there was one that even got a part 3 somehow, but that was the most it ever got. And this tutorial series has contained 14 parts over the past year and a few months, which is really crazy. Like, it's not a lot of videos, but it's taken this long to finally get to this point. So it's really amazing to get here. And do not worry, tutorials are not going away. I'm not going away. There will be lots of stuff that I'll explain the future of what's going to happen at the end of this video. So after the tutorial, stay tuned, because I will have some more info on what is to come for the future. But with that out of the way, a few things to explain. First of all, why I've been gone, why I disappeared for a month. School started, basically. That is all I have to say. Algebra 1 and AP World History have shown no mercy at all. Second reason, actually the second reason ties back to school, but just motivation loss. School just, yeah, school drains my motivation. School is to blame for all of this. Plus, I've been taking lots of time to try to work on rotting, because the progress on that has started to slow down a little bit, but I've really been trying to dedicate every minute into it as I can. And obviously I'm in a time where I don't actually have a lot of homework right now, so I'm really trying to put as much time into all the projects as I can. Like, rotting usually is what gets most of the time, but it's been a month since I've made a video, so it is about time to get the channel, like, go check on the channel and bring it back to life, because it's kind of dead right now. There was the Sonic.EXE video that I made, which is just it was just like a silly little gameplay thing. It was really for promotion, because my best friend made that game, so it's the Kit Kato. He's commented on a few of the videos before. He has a GameJolt account. I'll link it in the description. Go check him out. He's a great guy. Pretty funny game too. If you have the average Gen Z humor, then you can get a laugh out of it. If you watch that video of me playing it, then yeah, I sound depressed half the time. Well, guess what? That's just my normal voice. It's just how I sound. Anyway, okay, that is kind of a quick update for now on what's been going on, but for this tutorial, for the present right now, this tutorial is going to be uploading your game to GameJolt, which I'll also include like not decompiling, extracting the game, exporting the game, building the game, whatever term you want to use. Like, this tutorial was basically for if your exe game is done and you're kind of unsure how to like build it or how to upload it to GameJolt, because the process is not, it's not that bad. Maybe it'll be a little rough trying to get through it the first time, trying to understand what everything means, what everything's like doing, what it's happening, because the GameJolt does explain lots of stuff. But if you're like me and you hate reading, then you're not reading all of it. So that's what this tutorial video is for. And there are lots of other tutorials for uploading your game to GameJolt, but I will try to keep this one related to Sonic.exe fan games, since that's what this whole tutorial is about. Okay, that should be everything for the intro. Like I said, stay tuned for the end, because I'm going to have some explanation there for the future and what's going to be happening and what I'm probably going to be doing. Alright, so this is my second attempt to record the video without letting it go on for an hour, so let's try to do that. So, just getting straight into it, let's say we have our exe game right here. This is just the same Sonic.exe fan game project file that I've been using for the entire tutorial series, so I'm just going to use this as an example, obviously. But let's just assume your exe game is done, you've patched it up as much as you can, and you think it's ready to go. So first we have to actually build it out of Clickteam and turn it into a playable application, standalone application. So you just want to go to File, Build, and there's a few options here. All and application, I'm not too sure like what the difference is, because I've tried both of them and they do the exact same thing. Install program, I've never tried that before, so I would recommend like researching that before you try it. But I would just, it really doesn't matter which one you choose, but I'm just going to choose application for this. I think the only difference is if you choose all, it will just put it, like, it'll save it right where the Clickteam Mofa file for the game is. But if you choose application, you can actually pick any location for it to save. So let's say this is the folder I have for the tutorial series, and keep it as standalone application. You can change the name to whatever you want, so I just had it as Sonic.tutorial just because. So we save it. This error is only gonna pop up if you have like a fourth wall break thing where you use an image in the person's files to like do something like change the background, because in the fourth wall breaking tutorial I did have that, so it's like warning me like, hey, you need to include this image or it's gonna break. So if you didn't have any of that, you should not get this error, but if you did, you might get that error, just as a heads up. So you just let it save. It could take a while depending on how big your game is. Obviously it's done for us though. So then we go into the spot where it saves it all. So there should be two new things: a modules folder right here, which just has all of the Clickteam extensions we used, and the actual application itself, Sonic.tutorial. If we double click this, as you can see, we can run it and we can basically play our game. Now this modules folder right here, this needs to be included in the download or else the application is not going to work. If you try to drag this anywhere else away from the modules folder, then and you try to run it, then it'll say like there's stuff missing. So you have to include this modules folder in the download. Now obviously we can only upload one file to GameJolt, so how do we do that? Well, you can select both of them by like choosing one, hold control, and then select the other. Right click, and then this depends on if you have like WinRAR, or if you don't, you can just put it in a compressed zip folder, but in my case I can put it into a RAR folder and have this right here. So this includes the modules and the tutorial thing. Get out of here. So this RAR folder is what I would upload, and people just would extract that. So most of the time that's what exe games do. Sometimes you can get away with having like the standalone application on its own. I think that was in like older versions, so some older games might have that, but this folder is going to be what we're going to upload to GameJolt. So now on to actually uploading it to GameJolt. So as you can see, I'm on my GameJolt account here, and there are two different ways to access the thing to upload games. If you have uploaded games before, let's say I have okay, my mouse, I'm gonna say this ahead of time, my mouse wheel's like broken, so if it randomly has a seizure, then like excuse that. But let's say you have games here, say I've got 3 of them right here. You can like go to view all on your games, and you can do add game, and that will take you to this page. The other way to get to it, if you do not have any games, you go to store and then add your game, and it takes you there too. So now onto this. So as you can see, we have three options: devlog only, early access, or complete/stable. In simple terms, devlog only is if you want to make a game page for your game, but your game is not actually ready to be uploaded yet. Like, you don't have any demos ready, no builds ready, none of that. You just want to have the game page to like post updates. That's what that option's for. And then early access, that's if you have, like, say for example, a Tails demo that you want to upload and make a game page for, but you're still like trying to make the game is not finished yet. That's what you would choose. And then complete/stable, it's obviously the game is complete and like you finished all the content update. The only updates you will plan on making are bug fixes, performance optimizations, or small improvements. In our case, our game is complete/stable, so you just click it, it'll take you right to this page where you basically set up the page. So first of all, we obviously add a title, so let's just say Sonic.exe game for tutorial series. URL path here, as you can see, it has saved a few of them from the past of what I've done, but what this is when you go on your game page and the URL up here, this is what it'll show, except ID will be like the ID of your game, but this little area here is going to be whatever you type. So let's say I put Sonic.exe tutorial series. So on the game page, this is what it's going to look like right here, and the ID will be like that game ID. Website, that's optional, obviously. That is if your game has like its own website. That's usually for more like bigger games, like usually EXE games. Usually fan games in general do not have them. There are some, like say Mario the Music Box, that one has their own website, so technically they could put that in there. Anyway, engine/language creation tool, this is basically choosing what engine or language you use to make it. As you can see, we have a wide variety, all the RPG makers, Unity, Unreal Engines, even Scratch. In our case, we use Clickteam Fusion, so that would fall under Clickteam series category. Partner system, this is just for GameJolt partners. They'll be able to download the game for free. Obviously, our game is going to be free anyway because it's a fan game. So once we have set up all this, we can do save and next, and this will basically create a small little chunk of what the game page settings are going to look like. So as you can see, there's a few categories. Details, that's just the page we were already on, so that's good. Now description. I'm not really going to go over how you write a good description. I'm just going to show you everything you can do. So you can obviously type stuff in here. You can add emojis all you want. There's lots of stuff to do here. So let's say images. You can go here and I guess I'll just choose this random image. So obviously you can add any image you want here and just get rid of it anytime. There's also code blocks, which is like, maybe you've seen these before. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of them is. Sometimes it's just for like allowing some text to stand out or just allowing some info to stand out. Again, like I said, I'm not sure what the purpose of them is. Quotes, that is this thing right here. Sometimes they can be used for credits. I'm not too sure. Again, I'm not too sure exactly what they're usually for. You've probably seen these on game pages before. Spoilers, that's obviously maybe you've got some, maybe you want to show like give a hint of the ending of the game, but you want to mark it as spoiler, obviously, or whatever, something. Separators, these are really cool. So hold up, let's say I type some stuff here, but then I go down and now I want to separate it and then go here. So this is nice. It's better than needing to do like all these little lines right here. So there's that. Bulleted list, that's obviously like you got this bulleted list right here. It can be for whatever like info you want. Numbered list, same thing, just with numbers. That should be like all the little gimmicks inside of the description you can put. So I'm just gonna smack stuff in here. Tags as well. GameJolt really encourages you to add tags, and sometimes they will even force you if they can tell like what type of game you have. So in our case, let's say this is a fan game. It is a horror game. It's not really FNAF. Depending on your EXE game, it could be adventure, maybe survival, probably platformer. You can also add custom ones like say Sonic.EXE, or maybe that won't work. I'll just have to do EXE. Yeah, the purpose of these tags is to kind of allow GameJolt to know which kind of community or audience they're going to push the game towards. Because I mean, they don't want to take this EXE game and push it towards someone who's like a FNAF fan, I guess, and they don't really care for EXE games. They want to push it towards people who love EXE games. So these are kind of to help guide GameJolt on where they push it. So yeah, so once you're done with your description, you can just do save and next, and you can see that will go away. Now here, these are all the games like thumbnails and headers. I'm going to go open up one of my recent games so that way you can kind of see examples of what exactly I'm talking about. So let's say this was a short fan game that I made in 9 days called The Sorrow of Destruction, just a Five Nights at Sonic's fan game. The thumbnail of your game, I actually shouldn't have clicked on the page. Okay, let's say for all these games down here, the thumbnail would be like the image right on here. Let's say some Meatly Storage World. This image right here, that's the thumbnail. So that's probably the most important image because this is what needs to catch the viewer's eye. If you've caught the viewer's eye with the thumbnail and they've clicked on the game and they are on the game page, now let's say you have the header up here, which is this. So once you've uploaded your header image, you can like drag this in and out to kind of get a good size on however you want, like whichever portion of the image. I am going to remove that header just because as you can see, this is the header I chose here. The point of the header is to kind of keep the person engaged on the game page. I mean, it's good enough if you've gotten them to click on your game, but you also want to keep them engaged onto it. So this header can hopefully like give people an idea of what they're about to get into. So they see like, okay, it's like in pixel art style, but it's like realistic lighting and effects, but it's pixel art style. There's Mario, there's Sonic, so it's a fan game. They look pretty spooky and beat up. It's probably a horror game. You know, you can get a lot out of this header from what you're about to get into. So, and then media. Media is all the screenshots down here. So most of the time these are either gameplay screenshots or they can be custom made teasers, and sometimes you can even add videos too. So let's say you have images, you can just upload an image. Videos, usually you have to put in like a YouTube video link and put it in there. You set the title and you can say a description if you want. Sketchfab, I have not messed with this much. This is for the website Sketchfab for 3D models, so I've not really messed with that much. So there's just that if you want to do that. Yeah, so for EXE games, say with like videos, most of the time people will add like their like other people's gameplays of videos if they really like it, or they might add like teasers or trailers onto there. Let's say for this game, for example, I have 4 screenshots total. They are all just gameplay teasers because I did not really make any custom teasers because this was a short game. So let's say we have this teaser, I titled it just watch, and then this other teaser titled it hide because you're hiding. Another one I titled it hello there. As you can see, Sonic is standing at the door there. And then this other one, I got the glitchy text online and just set it to reboot him to kind of tell people like when you see this guy, like you gotta reboot on there because it's not explained in the game properly. So you don't want to have too many screenshots because people can get lost in like looking at all your screenshots. They'll definitely get a lot out of your game, but it can kind of, sometimes it spoils too much and it gets to a point where it's like, oh, I've seen enough, I don't really need to play this game anymore. Or sometimes it's like there's just too much to scroll through. But you also don't want to have too little because then there's like not enough context for the game. So let's say I have 4 here, but all 4 of these screenshots show every mechanic that you can do basically. Obviously there's more stuff if you actually go in the game, like there's a menu, there's credits and stuff, there's a winning screen. So obviously there's more than what these screenshots have to offer, but these screenshots show like basically all the basic stuff you can do, which is enough usually. 4 screenshots here is probably enough. And the color theme, that is like kind of setting the color theme like on GameJolt. Let's say for this, I think this is just my default color thing for my account, but I think I might have set it on the game page too. That basically, like when people go on your game page, it'll automatically change their color to whatever you pick. Obviously, if you click clear theme, then it'll just set the color to whatever the user has their default like color as. So I'm not gonna upload anything there. You saw examples of what it looks like here. discard changes. We'll go to packages next. So this is where you will actually upload the file itself. So it automatically takes us to add package, even though there is a packages page here. So once we add the package, then we can go back to that page. But everything here, as you can see, a package in GameJolt is basically okay, let's show an example. So let's say this thing right here you see where like the download button is and the thing itself, this is a package. So let's say it says owned because I own this package, I uploaded it. It says free obviously because it's free. If you make the game cost money, then it'll show the price here, but this is a fan game, so we legally cannot sell it. There's a little description on what it is. There's a title. You can see how long ago it was uploaded. You can see the version number and the download buttons right there. So this is a package in GameJolt. So when we're making a package, we're creating this thing. So let's say you set the title for your package. You can enter the description. The description is obviously optional. You can set it to whether it's public or private, but if it's private, you can also use keys to allow like maybe beta testers to play, or if you have some like small competition and you're giving away keys, then like you can give it to random people and they can access it. Partner visibility, this is if you want GameJolt partners to be able to access the package even if it's set to private. I wouldn't keep this on because that means like some people might like get it early and it just might be meh. Usually that's better for like if your game costs money. Now down here, this is pricing type. This does not really matter for us, but I'll briefly explain it anyway. You have three options. It automatically puts us at free with no charge at all. Pay what you want is basically the user chooses how much they want to pay, so they can pay $0 and just have it for free. Or if they're feeling generous and they really love the game and they want to support the developer, they can like put some money into it. And then paid is obviously they have to pay a certain price to get it. Now, GameJolt is automatically able to figure out that this is a fan game because we put the fan game hashtag in the description. Doesn't mean that if you don't put that hashtag, they'll allow you to set this price. I mean, I'm not sure. I'd have to experiment with that. But whatever you do, do not make your EXE game cost money. Trust me, it's illegal technically. As it shows right here, accepting payments for fan games is illegal and against our terms. If you sell fan games, we will remove your account and block you from the marketplace. So even if you want to do a little troll, like trust me, it is not worth it. So let's say in this case, I want to make it private just because of tutorial's sake. The title, I'll keep it as that. I don't want to put in a description. Let's say we want to add the package. That primary package option is just there. It sets it as default since we only have one package. You'll most of the time only have one package, so you don't really need to worry about that. But now we can go back to the package page. So as you can see, we have our package right here. So you can see it looks a lot like this here, except there's no like download yet. So we can obviously add a new package anytime, which basically adds another one of these sections. Maybe you've seen two of them before. That is usually only for if you've added like another whole section of the game, but you want to release it separately and still have the old version available. Because let's say we we manage our package here, we can edit package details, or we can make a new release. So this, okay, so I lied about before. This is where we will actually upload the file. So few things here. As you can see, we have version number here. It automatically sets it to 0.1.0 because this is the very first version. So this is like, yeah, the first version. So we'll obviously choose to upload a file, and let's say in here we want to upload that RAR folder we had. Okay, so let's say we can choose that RAR folder. It'll upload the game. Depending on how big your game is, it could take a few seconds. So just give it some time, but might finish right away because it's small. So let's say here you just choose the operating system that it's good for. So in my case, I use Windows, and you could also just put Windows 64-bit. I guess if you made the game specifically for Mac or Linux, you could also check those off too. It doesn't really matter. Is installer, that is basically if the thing that these people are going to download is going to be an installer to actually install the game or program itself. That's usually more for like programs, not really games, so we don't need to worry about that because they're actually downloading the game itself. You can add a add a schedule for publishing release date, so that way you don't have to do it manually if you want. Oh yeah, upload browser build, that is for like HTML builds and zip archive folders. It would have also worked for Flash, but Flash like got discontinued, so Back when Flash was running, it would have also been useful for this, but yeah, Flash is gone. So obviously this is the very first version, so we will keep this how it is. So let's say I don't want to publish release yet, I just want to save it as a draft. So as you can see here, we have our release inside of our package now. So what's the difference between release and package? The package is like basically the section right here, which is actually going to contain the releases, but the releases themselves are the actual like downloadable files. So let's say if we made a new release right now, it would automatically overtake this release here, and it would like basically get rid of this release. I mean, you can still access this release, but it would not allow anybody else to access this one. But if you made a brand new package, then people could still access the old package. So if you just make bug fixes, you definitely want to make like a new release. But if you had a whole new section, I mean, you can make a new release if you want, if you don't want the old version to be available anymore. Or if you want the older version to be available, you can just make a new package for it. So that just all depends on what you want to do. So let's say, oh, my game had some bugs. I made a few bug fixes. Now let's make a new release because there were bug fixes. So this will automatically add a new version to it. And the good way to tell of how to like set the numbers, it shows kind of here a simple little key for it. The first 0 here is for a major patch, so that would probably be if you had a Tails demo, but then you're uploading this new release and it's now a Knuckles demo, then that's where you could like add the number for major. The middle one, minor, that could probably be for small content updates, like maybe if you added a level. It could also include bug fixes, but really it's more for like content updates that are not super big but are not super small. And then patch, obviously that's just like bug fixes, bug patches, not really any content updates. You can obviously, GameJolt sets this automatically. If you try to do a same version, it'll automatically do that, but let's say we just made bug fixes, so we're only gonna add this one. Also, only add 1 to the version number, whatever you do. I mean, you can set it to whatever you want, but like try to only add 1 to each version number for every release, because it can actually make your game look better if your version numbers are lower, especially the bug patches one. If that one is like lower, then it actually is cool because people can look at that and see like, oh, this game has not really had to have many bug fixes, it must be good. But if your like version number is very high, only because of like, say if these two numbers are high, it clearly like is probably content updates, but it could also mean bug patches. It can make the game like not look so good because there's so many like new updates coming out for it. This number people won't really look at because this is for major patches, so that's for content updates, but it's these two that if they're really high, people might look at that as like, oh, this person like needed to fix their game a lot. It might be meh. So you want to keep the number as low as possible, and then it's all the same stuff if you want to upload a new thing. So I'm not going to do that. But as you can see, it automatically saves it as a draft right there. So okay, that should be it for packages. So now maturity. This is going to be age rating. Now it's not just this simple age rating right here. There's lots more categories it's going to go through. Quick heads up, the categories might include topics that you may be uncomfortable with, so just heads up going forward. So for EXE games, I know Sonic.EXE as the character himself has been pushed more towards younger audiences. I personally don't agree with that, and I think we should keep it at teen content. In some cases, if your EXE game, if you think it's like really crazy and like it needs like not even for teens, I mean, you know, teens are gonna play it anyway, but like if you want to push it more towards an older audience, you can choose mature content if you want, but most EXE games are going to get in teen content. So when rating all this, I'm going to just go based off of what is in the like test thing going on here. So let's start with cartoon violence. So this is depictions of cartoon-like characters in certain like violent situations and how bad it is. So this automatically applies to EXE games. So no matter what you do, you're gonna have at least mild, but depending on how bad you're like and when I say bad, I mean like how crazy with the violence or story it is. Depending on how crazy your EXE game is, you might want to adjust this a bit. So Let's say I might want to put it to moderate just because it does. I mean, the point of an EXE game is taking cartoon Sonic characters and putting them in dangerous situations. So most of the time they might be set to moderate, maybe even intense if it's really bad. Um, Fantasy violence, this is if the depictions the characters are getting put into are like distinguishable from real life. So like say there's aggressive conflict, unsafe situations, or violence. So probably aggressive conflict, maybe realistic violence. So this is if like realistic characters are in unsafe situations, or just sort of realistic ones. So we can put that as mild, since this is sort of like cartoon, or it's like it's just a game, like it's exe, it's not real. Bloodshed, I know exe games will have this one, and depending on how good your artist or how good you were as the artist were for the blood, you might want to like adjust this to maybe a bit higher rating. So this engine here did not actually have too much blood. There was only like blood on characters. There wasn't really like blood, like I don't think I ever did any killing in here, I'm not sure. Sexual violence, that should be obvious. If there's anything like rape or other violent sexual behavior, this is an exe game, we obviously won't have that. Substances like alcohol, drugs, tobacco, again, this is an exe game, so we most likely will not have this. If you like have a little joke section in your exe game, or if you actually like have some open world type of game and there is like a bar section, I guess, and there's characters like drinking, then I guess you could like put in reference or maybe even use sometimes. Most of the time you wouldn't have to worry about that. Sex/nudity, that is obviously this is an exe game, so obviously it's hopefully not gonna have any of that. This is for more like the weeb sort of games. You might know what I'm talking about if you've seen them on GameJolt before, so obviously we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so this is like sort of jokes and stuff, like language, just like how much use of profanity. Some exe games have lots of profanity, others don't have any at all or none. Let's say in here, I don't think I ever really had any dialogue, but let's say for example I had a character say something like "what the hell." In that case, I'd put it at mild, but if you had your character say other words, maybe you should put it at strong or moderate. Humor, this is sort of like dark humor, or just, yeah, basically just like dark humor. Like how bad it is, like if there's any jokes in there, like maybe they're adult jokes or they're just dark humor jokes. I never really had any of that, so we probably don't have to worry about that. Gambling, that's obviously, it's an EXE game, there should be none of that, unless sometimes I guess players could do it with like play money, meaning just like in-game money, it's not real, but there are some rare like situations, obviously this will never apply to EXE games, but where like players will use real money to gamble. So okay, let's say we've set all of these ratings, let's do save and next, and now the maturity rating, as you can see, this is our mature rating, this is what it's gonna look like. So as you can see, this won't let me come on the stupid mouse wheel. Okay, as you can see, this won't let me publish it just because these two have not been filled out yet. So I'm going to show you what it looks like by going in the settings for this game. So as you can see, this adds a few more things we can go through, like overview. This kind of shows us an overall overview, like the analytics, all the info on what's been going on with it, a few more things. Devlog is just making a quick way to make posts for the game. Game API, I haven't really messed with that. Keys/access, this is how you would make keys. Site, this is like if your game has a website. Collaborators, this would be if you want a friend to like be able to also post on the game page and also make settings to it. So you can do stuff here's like full collaborator, they can access and modify anything for the game except they cannot add other collaborators. Community manager, they can modify like the game's description and some details, but they can't like modify packages or the key groups or any of that. They can also make posts on your game page too, so that's like if you have a friend you're working with on the game. In my case, this was like done alone, so I wouldn't really need to add anybody. You just like ping their username here and just add them, and that's how you would do it. And obviously like the details, this is where we'd set everything again. Oh yeah, so this is like what I did for the headers and stuff for this game. I set the color to that. Packages, let's say this was the package I had, and I think yes, this package has 2 versions in it because the first version had a broken download, so I had to re-upload a new version with a fixed download. The maturity rating, this is what I have right here in case you're just curious on what I picked. Music, this is just for if you have custom like OSTs that you want to add in here, then you can put in the title, upload the song file, and save the song, and people can preview music. Settings, so there's a few things here. Allow comments, that's obviously like if you want comments on the game page. Allow ratings, that's if you want people to be able to leave likes or dislikes. These options on down here, unlist game, that is if you want the game to still be public, but you only want it to be accessible if people have a link to it. So let's say you kind of don't want to like have the game public like out there anymore, but you still want it to be like available for people. This is what you could do. Cancel game, this is obviously if you want to cancel your game and show that like, hey, it's done, this is not being worked on anymore. I know a lot of EXE games will use that because a lot of them get canceled. So this is kind of what you would pick to kind of show like, oh, we're canceling the game. I think you can uncancel it anytime if you for whatever reason come back to it. But a remove game here, this is what you would do if you want to delete your game page for whatever reason. Obviously this is permanent, so once you do it, there's no going back. For cancel game, it does show if you've transitioned development off of GameJolt, you should remove the game instead. I mean, you don't really have to do that. You can do whatever you want. But I think, okay, let me show what analytics. You can also view analytics for the game once it's published. Okay, there's nothing there for September, but if we go back to, can we go back to August, please? There we go. It's still not, okay. Okay, here we go. So let's say August, I can see like the amount of views it's gotten. I can change the category to downloads. I can see how many downloads it's gotten over the past month. You can also look at like overall where people are coming from. So like Direct has mostly that, GameJolt has mostly that, YouTube, there's 4 people who came from YouTube. You can see a lot of other analytics here. You can see like who exactly is playing. So it's just like lots of stuff. Game revenue, that's only for game sales and revenue. That's only for if your game costs money, you know, follows, ratings, comments, installs. You can view every single little analytic right here. You can also do all time and see how it's been doing. I will show another example with Saturation Sonic, since that one actually has a bit more on the analytics than anything else. It's only because Mark played it. That's the only reason this game has like anything at all to it. So obviously I would probably have to go all time to truly see how much it has. So as you can see, currently Saturation Sonic has a total of 1,564 views, 213 game downloads, 7 game installs, 8 comments, 5 ratings, 48 followers, and obviously no revenue. I can see where they're coming from. I can see where they all came from. It was mainly YouTube because Mark played. I can see where they're all from. So yeah, this game only got popular, like I said, because Mark played it. So like, don't expect your game to get this big because this game is bad. Don't even play it. Okay, that should be absolutely everything for making a game page. And once you've like made and published your game page, it should appear down here under developers games. And if you've never uploaded a game before and this is your first time, you will actually get put under the category of dev instead of gamer. I'm pretty sure they have the category as gamer if you don't have any if you don't have any games. But once you add a game, you'll get dev right here. So that will be nice, and it'll show how much you have, obviously, and you can view all, and you can see all of your games right here. And as you can see, it does show this one as just unlisted. But that should be everything. Thank you so much for watching. What am I saying? I shouldn't do the outro yet. There's still some info after this to cover, so I guess we'll just cut for that, and we'll just cut to that, and that guy will do the outro. So see ya for now. If you made it this far, then either your attention span is really good or you just skipped to the end of the video because you wanted to hear the future of the channel, and I credit you for both of those. Alright, so basically, what is going to be happening? The Sonic.EXE tutorial series is over now, so obviously that is not really going to get anything else now. So basically, what's going to be happening now? What are the new videos going to be? I mean, maybe not really new videos. What are the videos in the future going to be? What's it going to be like? What should we expect? So basically, I have promised this for a long time, and it is finally going to come true. You can start to request video tutorial ideas in the comments, and I will just do them. For a long time, for this whole year I've been doing this series, people have been requesting things for me to do. Some of them I did cover in the actual tutorial series, and there were a few extra videos made that weren't part of the tutorial series but were like just a tutorial on something someone requested. So I've done a few of them, but there has been a lot that like I do actually want to cover myself personally that I really like. Let's say like Sonic CD time travel. I actually like really want to cover that. Maybe a few like Mania things, like maybe Mania partner system, because they did it a bit differently in Mania than in the classic games. A lot of other examples that like a lot of comments suggested, and I'm sure more comments will be suggesting them. So tutorials are obviously not gone. They're still here. I will still do Clickteam related tutorials. They might not all be Sonic.EXE related. Most of them probably will be Sonic.EXE related. But I do want to try to like open up a more of a variety and maybe have like some normal Clickteam tutorials of just basic stuff. Like, I mean, I can't promise. Like maybe I don't know if I'd do a FNAF tutorial series for Clickteam. There's too many of those already, but just like basic Clickteam Fusion tutorials on some everyday things for like newer game developers. Since I have been using Clickteam for 4 years now, so I feel good enough to call myself close to a professional. Will be those types of videos now. So all the people that have like suggested ideas for tutorials that I never covered, you can start re-suggesting those because I probably forgot most of them, and I don't know if I'm gonna go back and dig through all of the old comments to like go find them all again. I mean, maybe I will, I don't know, we'll see. But for all the people who have like requested other tutorials and want to now like actually get them, since now I'm opening the opportunity to for people to request tutorials and get them, because I don't know how long I'm going to be doing tutorials. I cannot promise that I will be doing Clickteam tutorials for like the rest of my YouTube career, however long that is. So at some point the tutorials will probably go away. When, I'm not sure. Clearly the tutorials have been like what is getting the channel going. What's like, I will probably keep doing those for as long as I can. So yeah, I will just say they won't be happening forever. At some point they will be gone and I'll be done with tutorials. I don't know when. It won't be anytime soon, but just a heads up, that will happen at some point. That now other types of videos that could potentially be happening. I do want to try to open up the variety more. Rotting teaser and devlog videos. I do want to try to get those more out there, because anytime I've uploaded like some rotting teaser, it's like done awful compared to the average. Since rotting is my big like passion, my main like project that I'm putting all my effort and dedication into, I really do want to try to push it and make it feel like that all the work I'm putting into it is getting the respect that it deserves. So probably some more teaser videos, some more devlog videos, maybe some behind the scenes, maybe some like developing videos, speed develop, I don't know, something like that. I want to try to maybe do that more. We'll see how that goes. And then live streaming. I want to try live streaming again. It's been a long time since I've live streamed. Last time I live streamed, I think it was playing Too Late.exe. That was like 2 years ago maybe. So it's been a while. So if I live stream again, you're gonna have to be patient with me to like re-figure out everything, how it works. But if I did live streams, it'd probably be like developing something live, like maybe working on rotting live or something, or working on another project live or something, or like making people's Sonic OCs live. I don't know, something like that. I might also want to do like those like sort of funny, but sometimes they're not really funny, just like those challenge game developing videos, like maybe something like I made a game in 24 hours or something, or like I added this to my game and made a whole like that. Actually, that'd be a devlog video. Oh well. Something like that. Maybe you've kind of gotten the idea of what I overall am going to be doing from now on. Obviously, for YouTube, the past year and a few months has been like dedicated mainly to this Sonic.exe tutorial series. I'll mention again, just like before, I am currently in school right now, so I cannot really promise like the tutorials will be happening really often. It's gonna go back to the old schedule it had a while back ago, where it's like most of the time it's gonna be every 2 weeks, but sometimes it stretches to 3 weeks, but sometimes it can only be 1 week. So it's gonna really depend. It's gonna really like depend on what's happening, what my schedule is, and I will try to keep people updated as time goes on. But that is basically the future of Sub Studios right now, and what's going to be happening, what's going to be going on, what I want to do. If you want to see me more active places, because obviously I'm not super active on YouTube, so if you want to find me in a very active place, go follow my GameJolt page. As you saw in the video, I'll link it in. I think it's automatically linked in the description. You saw in the video like what page it is. That is where I'm really active. I try to post on there a lot. So if you want to contact me or tell me something on there, or just see how I'm doing and like see the latest updates with me, GameJolt is going to be the place to go. Obviously, my Discord is open for DMs too. If anyone wants to DM me anything, I won't accept random friend requests. So if you like try to friend request me and don't give any context to what it is, then like I gotta have a good reason to do it. But you can DM me like if you're having trouble with your EXE game and you need help fixing a problem, or sometimes, this is very rare cases, sometimes if you want me to like help you like work on your EXE project with you, or like just be a fellow developer in your EXE project, then sometimes, very rare cases, I will. It kind of depends on like how many projects I'm working on currently. I have a list on GameJolt actually of like the projects that I've helped with and are helping with currently. So there's like a good amount of them, but like a lot of them are kind of slow right now or dead, or I'm not really doing anything for them right now. But then there's like one that's like pretty active. I've been doing lots of stuff for it recently. That should be like all the updates I can think of. Obviously, if I forgot something, I'll probably make a pinned comment about it, or editing me will add it on here. Thank you for supporting this Sonic.EXE tutorial series. I'm so glad that I've been able to give the EXE community this gift, just with my skill of Clickteam and knowledge, and just being able to share that knowledge to the EXE community, since it's kind of full of a lot of clueless people right now. So thank you for that, and this officially concludes the How to Make a Sonic.EXE fan game in Clickteam Fusion tutorial series. Peace.